What's going on, guys? This is Bruce Mattson, your host, show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football. Show that talks about all things fantasy from redraft, dynasty, DFS, Devy, and everything in between. Something you're into. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, tell everybody you know, get the word out about this channel. And today I'm going to be doing something different. And I think this is going to be something you're going to be seeing all throughout the offseason. Is I'm going to be reviewing draft guides, draft books, and stuff for you guys, so you guys can have that knowledge of what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy, what to expect, and what to look for when you buy these magazines, these books, these articles, whatever it is that we're buying. I'm going to buy some, read through them, look through them, and give them my critique. What I like about them, what I see, and what you gain from it is what you gain from it. But I'm just going to give you a straight up, no BS review. And none of these people that has written these magazines I've reached out to or anything. I'm just buying them on my own, and I'm just giving you a review. And the one I'm going to hit on today is the Fantasy Football Black Book by Joe Pisapia. This is it. And it is very interesting. When I bought this off Amazon, so all along, these last couple years, I've seen the Black Book advertised on Twitter, was interested, heard there was a lot of good writers in it, and very, very fascinating to me. A few days ago, I pulled the trigger off Amazon, I bought it, been looking through it, reading it. I've probably read about 30, 40, 50% of it. I'm not all the way through it, but I've grazed through all the sections. And usually when I buy a magazine or whatever, I do not read it from front to back. You really got the full Bruce experience with this book. Usually I just leaf through this stuff and pick and choose what I want to go through, and it really depends on the time I got. And I had some time this weekend, so I went through it. I'll probably continue to go through it. And what I like about this is it's a book. It's not a magazine. The binding and the outside casing is thicker. It's resistant. It's tough. You put this in a book bag. You put this in your luggage. You go on a trip. It's not going to rip on you. It's not going to bend. It's not going to tear. It's a solid book. I like that. It's something different from magazines. And when you get a magazine, the front part kind of gets a little crinkly after a while. You get a little wet. You accidentally spill a little coffee on it. The front binding part here, as you can tell, it's pretty thick. I like that. You feel like you have an actual book, which is different. All throughout my fantasy football reading career, lifestyle, whatever, all those years of reading material, it's always been just magazines in the offseason going into drafts. So this gives you something different. And this reads a lot like a book. You got your chapters, and you read it from left to right, and you read through the paragraphs. It's not like a magazine where you can just thumb through it and just go in and out of it. You really have to sit through it and read it, which is good because it's very thorough. So, say I want to read about Justin Jefferson. He's got paragraphs in there. It's very nuanced. I got a lot of information. I also like that this is a book that I can take with me anywhere I go. And also, the pages are nice and fine where I can use a highlighter. Highlight anything I want, and the highlighter will show up really well. And the pages on here is just smooth. They last, they hold up. It's not cheap. This is built to last you through your off season. This is a good book I suggest to use for vacations, poolside, if you got a family trip coming up and you got a plane ride and some layovers and you need something to get by. This is a good buy to get. This book right here. This is very thorough. You got a lot of pages. You're getting a lot of boom for the buck. It's around $14, $15 on Amazon. Probably a standard price for books like this in the fantasy industry. It's really thorough. You go from college players, you got IDP, you got a little bit of dynasty, you got redraft, positional overview. They talk about strategies, little bit of everything. And everything has some nuance to it. It's not like it's been fluffed over. It's not like they ran through it real quick. The team overviews are really good because they go in detail about the teams and how they can be looked at from a fantasy football perspective. I like the strategies, and all in all, there's something for everybody in this book, and there's a lot of stuff you can learn because it covers everything, even betting. So there's stuff that you can gain from it as well, and there's just plenty of material to get through a trip with, a business trip or whatever. I just like that it's nuanced. When I read through the player profiles, when I read through everything else in the book, every writer sounds like they've done a good job on the research, everything's put together correctly, and everything flows good. So it's not like everything was crammed together last minute. I like how this book came out in May. When people go out on their vacations in June and July, they got something with them, tactile in their hands, that they can use while on vacation, while taking their kids to school, whatever. You got it. It can go with you. It's different from a digital draft guide, because a digital draft guide, you got it on your phone. It's different with the book. It's something historically, traditionally, fantasy gamers like to buy a magazine. They like to have a magazine, maybe 2, to study up on before they go in the drafts. Now we got a book that we can get in late May, early June, and go even deeper detail before we even get our magazines. The magazines don't hit news shelves till a few more weeks, early August, whatever. Late June, July, something like that. This is a deep, detailed book. I like that. I like the binding. I like the cover. There's nothing about this book I really don't like. If your expectations are a magazine, that's where you might get stuck at. Because if you're expecting charts, colored graphics, pictures of those regards, you know how magazines are. They're really easy to flip through to separated sections, know where you're at. Everything's detailed, everything's highlighted for you. If you need something like that, if you need cheat sheets to walk you through your process, this is not the content for you. If you want a book that's very detailed, that is to the point, that has a lot of information, that talks about almost every player from A to Z, this is for you. It's a good read. Even if you're planning on getting a couple magazines, I suggest you get this book. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I think it's all right. It's a good book. I will buy another one again, and I'm going to continue reading through it. But I wanted to give a review just in case anybody was on the fence. I am going to probably bring it with me on some vacations because it's just so easy to sift through and consume the information. It's very nuanced, which is something I like. And it's like when you're traveling, when you're at the pool, when you're at a campsite, whatever, you don't need your reading material to be hard to read. This book, the pages are just straight up like a book. Words, paragraphs, some listings, everything is straightforward. You do not have to figure things out. You read it and you're good to go. The information's very detailed with stats, projections, and each section's written from a different writer. So you got a different flow from one chapter to the next, which gives you some variety. It feels like it's some variety because you got a different flow. And I kind of like that, because usually when you read a book, it's like the same person, and it kind of gets boring over time because you're kind of sick of hearing or reading that voice. But this chops it up and gives you something different. I would definitely buy this again. I suggest you guys look into it. It's on Amazon. Check it out. And I'll post the link in the description. I want to thank you for watching the show. It means a lot to me. If you stuck around this long, I must have kept you entertained. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Ring the bell, tell your homies, and I'll catch you next time.